We're POLCOR, back with new looks. I'm Yesha.
I'm Micah.
I'm Katya.
And I'm Athena.
And we're gonna show you DIY makeup looks.
Okay, before we start, we need to do a little disclaimer. As you can see on the thumbnail of our video, our looks are based on different parts of history. Through our looks, we are trying to bring awareness of the different phases of empowerment. Each layer of makeup is supposed to symbolize these parts of society that have been oppressed.
So the aim of this video is awareness. We are not trying to appropriate or misrepresent any culture or part of history.
If we in any way offend or misrepresent any culture or part of history, please comment how and we will work to fix our mistake. So these are our faces of empowerment. Yes.
Hi everyone! Okay, so I will be creating a look called Opulence. I named it after a key quote in the documentary Paris is Burning, a film that gives a glimpse into the drag culture of the 90s. That's what I'm basing my look around today, the history and influence of drag culture. And
first we have your foundation. It doesn't matter what foundation you use so long as it suits you. That's a principle they had in the Molly houses of 1700s England. They did not care what you wore or how you acted so long as it was what you felt fit for you. I'm gonna move on to my duo powder on top of the foundation. This powder does kind of the same thing as the foundation. What you're gonna do is mix these two colors and put it all over your face as a sort of base layer. On top of that, you add highlights using the lighter powder. Molly houses are kind of like foundation, and gay bars are kind of like the highlighter. The concept of a safe space in Molly houses eventually translated to gay bars, only the femininity and outrageousness was more highlighted. Next up is the eyeshadow. We're going to be using two colors. I will not be using the term shade because in the drag community, shade refers to a verbal insult taken from a read of a person. Hilarity and laughter has always been a defense mechanism of the drag community. This first layer is bright, just like the humor that diffused the Stonewall riot. This next color is a pink hue. I'm using it for the femininity that could not be expressed back in the Molly houses, gay bars, Broadway musicals, and circuits. There was a time in the 1700s that being in a Molly house was punishable by execution. In the 1930s, police threw the writer of a musical in jail for writing about members of the LGBT community. This community lasted through the stigma of the AIDS crisis, when people would discriminate against them because they were scared they would contract the life-threatening disease. This pink will dominate my eyeshadow because it's a powerful color and symbolizes the way the community remains proud of who they are despite all odds stacked against them. Last but not least is my lipstick. The bright pink only reiterates what the pink eyeshadow did, which is to show the pride that sparked and grew ever since the Stonewall riot. In the decades after the AIDS crisis, they made known that they were also members of the society that shunned them and should be treated with the same rights no matter how they identify. I would recommend further studies of shows such as RuPaul's Drag Race and how it has helped in this growing acceptance.
So this look is called Revolution. This mirrors the goings on in a country which is led by a dictator. So this will cover how I want to express the thoughts of patriotism and how it is different from nationalism as well. So yes.
So to start off with this look of revolution, we have our concealer. To symbolize a fascist government covering up their mistakes in the early stages of building a totalitarian nation. Now a dictator will always make it look like what they've done is alright and correct, smoothing out the rough patches to make it seem like there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. Because of this act of concealing, people start to believe that their leader's ideas are right and are something they should all adopt. This allows the leader to gain people's confidence, which in turn paves the way for them to preach their radical ideas of what it means to be part of the country they're living in and how they should serve their nation. They soon construct a very twisted version of nationalism that they present as the ideal concept citizens should work towards. Now when you've got that done, we'd want to move on with our eyeshadow. We would want to make the color dark and sinister around the eyes to represent the watchful stare of the leaders in a fascist government. Here we will want to represent nationalism as a tool of dictators to keep people in line. It will be colored a strong, dark red to represent the rule of law, anger, and, on the part of the dictators, tyranny. Since people under a fascist government use anger in themselves as a driving force for mobilization of their leaders' plans, which often leads to disaster. Of course, people in the past have succeeded in overcoming their differences among each other, so next we're gonna put some highlighter to symbolize the rays of hope for the oppressed people. Thankfully, in what used to be fascist countries, there were people who reached out to help those in the dark and freed them under bad conditions of living. Finally, we're going to have to put a little bit of lip tint and lipstick in a shimmery color to honor the people who fought for justice using their voices, even though it was dangerous to do so in their time. And here we are, the look of revolution. May this remind everyone to always look for the telltale signs of oppression and work together to save freedom.
Hello! Okay, so this next look is called the uproot. Rape culture, the focus of this look, is undeniably ingrained in the Philippine society. So deeply to the point that most of the time, we are unconscious that we are already helping to propagate it. This is why, in order to put assist to this culture, we must trace its roots in our everyday lives and get rid of them one by one.
To start, let's put on the foundation first. In this look, we won't be needing to make a layer very thick, but thick enough to cover any blemishes. Just like how humor is used in rape culture to conceal harmful statements. They make it seem like these words are just said in good fun and that they don't have any hidden implications. But as it is in the case of makeup, if you look closely, you can see the covered acne marks and spots. Just try to be a little more critical and observant, and you'll be able to see how these harmless jokes are promoting this toxic culture. And once you're able to identify how problematic they are, you can call out the people who said it, and you're already one step closer to getting rid of rape culture. Next is the eyeshadow. You can choose any color you want to put on your eyes, and contrary to popular belief, the bolder the color, the better. In our society, we usually hesitate to use colors that easily capture the attention of others. We tend to settle with nude ones. That's because we know we're going to be slut-shamed if they choose bold ones. Porket pokpok daw or malandi lang gumagamit ng ganyan. That way of thinking actually is an example of rape culture. And obviously, that's not true. Remember, even if a woman is very bold and sensual, it doesn't mean they're asking to be slut-shamed and harassed. The third step is to put on some blush. For this look, we're going to aim for very pink cheeks. As pink as they get when we women experience shame and embarrassment after we've been blamed for things that we shouldn't be blamed for because, after all, we're the victims. Rape culture wants us to believe that we play a part in our victimization, but keep in mind, ladies, you are never to be blamed for being assaulted. And lastly, to finish the look is this pink shimmery lipstick. This is for every great person out there who chooses to be strong and brave enough to speak against this harmful culture as well as to contribute to the education of people about it. May all of you never stop using your voices to ensure the safety of every Filipino and to improve the state of our nation.
Hey guys, this next look is called prominence. This look is based on the characteristics and the influence of political dynasties in the Philippines. These are families whose members have established their careers in the government for several generations.
To start, let us put on some foundation. We will only apply a foundation that has light coverage, just like how political competitiveness of these political families have deteriorated throughout the years. Because whenever the time for national elections come up, they are confident that they will win just like how they have always won the past elections. Of course, no family is perfect, and same goes with our skin. And to cover up these imperfections, we're going to use a concealer. Like a concealer, political families use their wealth to conceal their flaws and mistakes from the public. However, sometimes it's not just their own wealth that they are spending. They also take advantage of the money their office holds to promote their own families in order to maintain their political power. After that, we are going to apply contour to give shape to our faces, just like how political families shape politics in the Philippines by establishing control over the laws, justice, and the wealth of our country in order to maintain their power. Next, we're going to use highlighter to add some shimmer to our look. Likewise, whenever electoral candidates start with their campaigns, it is always political families who manage to take the spotlight because they are the ones who have the means to the most glamorous platforms to promote themselves, like television commercials and billboards. Finally, we are going to apply some mascara. Some beauty gurus say that adding mascara to your eyelashes instantly opens up your eyes and makes you look more awake. This upcoming 2019 midterm elections, more people are speaking up regarding the issues involving political dynasties in order to raise awareness, especially to the people who will participate in the upcoming election. These political families have established their control over our country and are trying to maintain it once again. However, as a democratic country, let us open our eyes and think critically because the power to promote and establish change is still in our hands.
Hi guys, okay, thanks so much for watching our video. Again, disclaimer, we are not one, makeup gurus, and two, we did not live through these parts of history. We're merely commemorating them and trying to show the empowerment that the people who went through it, well, experienced when they were able to finally stand up for their rights. And some of these things are still happening today, such as the rape culture and the political dynasties, and we're not just going to hope. Yeah, this is a call to action for everyone to do their best to go against the grain of conventional society, against tradition, and to try and make a more accepting tomorrow. Yes, so again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment below. And yes, thank you. Bye!